say you gained any sort of like imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I mean, I think recently as the team has grown a lot, there's a bit more of an imposter syndrome because I sometimes feel like, oh, I'm not good enough to coach team members or whatever. But then I kind of jump on a call and whatever issues they kind of like fire my way, I'm always able to troubleshoot it and have something to say. And then afterwards, I always feel like, oh, well, you know what? That conversation did not go as bad as I thought it would.
Right.
And then from a content perspective, I definitely think more recently, I've had a bit more imposter syndrome in terms of because as a result of the people I've met and also the people who I consume content from, I just feel so junior all the time. I don't really know how else to describe it. It's more just like
an age thing.
No. It's like a knowledge deficit. I feel like because if I were to give advice on a specific topic, I would know wholeheartedly that my perspective is probably not the most optimal. So I'm just like, sure, it's better than what the viewer probably currently believes or knows, but I feel like there's a better informational source. So lately my content production has gone down quite drastically, despite my team just like, yo, we need some videos, otherwise, what's the point of you watching this?
So you got your team also pushing you to make videos. So you've actually created such a culture where even though you're the boss, they feel like they can say, no, we need to do this, we need to do that.
Well, they have to, right? Because what else clips is my editor going to edit?
That's true.
Right? And if I don't give him work for a long enough period, he's going to be off the team.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have been paying him, and he's most recently actually the video that took a ton of work was the cookie video.
Yeah.
I taught my brother how to sell cookies, right?
Yeah.
And that took a lot of work because, I mean, the footage was just really poorly organized. I'll be honest. The videographer I worked with took a while. So
yeah, I think the best way, in my opinion, is when the videographer is also the editor, so they can shoot in a way where they know how it's going to look like. But when you have to like then take the videos from him, then give it to your editor and give him instructions, and it's become a mess. But that's a really good culture you got there. I wish my editor would say, yeah, Poku, you need to make more videos, you need to be on it. I need to actually he won't say anything, he'll be chilling. So I need to learn from you for sure.
Do you pay him on a retainer basis or like a hourly thing?
No, I pay him on retainer like weekly, but regardless. So but I did that more in the sense of accountability for myself. So if I'm paying them a certain amount per week and I'm not doing anything, then I'm wasting money. Therefore, I need to get on my ass and go do some stuff, make him work. So I saw it from that type of angle.
I hear that. But so the commitment, when you commit money to something, you need to make sure that commitment still hurts you. Because whatever level of commitment you're making to him now, saying, hey, dude, I'm going to pay you X amount every single week, that amount probably doesn't like actually affect your mood anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Maybe giving him a pay rise, or probably like creating some other incentive for you to film videos, which might be a quota where it's like, if I don't film a video a week or something, you pay him extra $100, £200, something like that. That could motivate you a bit more.
Okay, man, that's smooth. But I want to bring it back. Let me just introduce you. This is Boyan. We met on Instagram. DMs, again, when it comes to networking, DMs is one of the best places. Again, it doesn't hurt just to shout someone and say, yo, I appreciate what you're doing. So yeah, don't feel type of way. Don't have that ego. Yeah. We kicked off in the DMs, and it turns out we've both been preying each other, watching each other, and he'll be on the next Gen Z event. He'll be talking about his journey in email marketing and whatnot. But yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my name is Boyan. I run a email marketing agency, and we help e-commerce brands. We've been at it for like 2.5, close to 3 years now. Actually, yeah, 2.5 years, and we've done many millions for brands at this point. And yeah, looking to scale up. The team has grown quite a lot, so I think that's going to be a pretty interesting topic for today. And been in the agency game for a while. Also got a YouTube channel.
No, email marketing. When I just think of emails and the stuff I get, I feel like I ignore quite a lot. I look at the subject and I'm thinking, dust it. But the fact that you've actually, especially in today's day and age where everyone has short attention spans, and people you would say they've moved on to social media and whatnot, you've actually turned that into a profitable asset where you're making money from it. How did that all begin for you?
Well, when I first, so rewinding it back to like December 2019, I dropped out of university and I felt like there was a lot of pressure on me to make it, but also make it relatively quickly, right? Because it's like, what's the point of dropping out if in 5 years you catch up to, at least financially, to the person who graduated at 21, right?
Exactly.
It made no sense for me. So I knew that when I chose to drop out, I had to do better, but not just like marginally, like I have to just like crush, right?
Yeah.
So I looked around on the internet for various businesses that I could start. And obviously, you know, I looked at dropshipping, FBA,
Yeah.
every single money-making method that you could possibly think of, I looked at it, right? And then I stumbled across SMMA, which is social media marketing agency. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. I have background in door-to-door sales. And I just figured, you know, closing a big deal is kind of similar to closing a small one. So yeah, I bought the software as necessary and I started trying to sign clients. In the beginning, it was really messy, I'll be honest. But it was just like, through my door knocking days, I knew that I just need to hit numbers in the beginning. And as the numbers got higher, it's basically a probability game, right? Like if you have a 0.1% chance of winning, it means you need to try 1,000 times. So I knew my probability was probably quite low. So I had to compensate with effort because I didn't know shit. I was pretty useless back then, if I'm being honest. And actually, for my first client, I got quite lucky because I signed a brand that was really big on Amazon, but really small on Shopify. And I just knew, okay, well, it's now time to deliver. And that was on the 24th day. And because I knew, I had faith in myself that I was going to be able to deliver, I was able to close for quite a large retainer at the time. It was quite life-changing, actually. It was like 3.5K US.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, fuck, this is good money, right? Because it's back then, you know.
Wait, so from 0 clients to that first client?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that was super life-changing. I remember that moment like it was yesterday, right? But every client subsequently has become just, you know, another day.
Another statistic.
Pretty much, yeah. Because I think past the first, like, you have really cool adrenaline rushes when you hit certain milestones, right? First milestone might be making your first sale online, right? Second one might be hitting 10K a month. But to be honest, I feel like the 10K a month isn't as cool as the first time you take yourself on holiday or something. Because I've never traveled. Because, I mean, my parents just didn't have time or the money to take me when I was a kid. So the only places I went was with school trips. But I don't really count those because it's very structured. You know, you're with teachers and shit. So I remember 2020 when my friend Blaze and I, who I also met on the internet, we went to Madeira, right? It was supposed to be with my friend Vince as well, but he actually broke a collarbone. And that was the first moment I was like, oh, fuck, like this is crazy. I just paid for a flight and like accommodation and everything. This is insane. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
That was incentives.
Going back a little bit, how did you decide? Because a lot of people are in your position where you was in 2019, where you're picking what online hustle you want to begin with. How did you research and how did you decide which will make sense for your lifestyle or which will make sense for you? Because it seems like, you know, you hit the jackpot straight away. Because for other people, you know, others may have dabbled in a little of everything and in the spiral of just trying different hustles, giving up after a month. How did you just, it seemed like off the bat.
So I actually have like a couple of my real life friends to thank for this because they started at SMMA back in maybe 2016. Actually, and a subscriber, Gabriel Arthur. This guy, top G, yeah. Anyways, so what happened was my friends started at SMMA way back when, like 2016 or something crazy, right? 2016, 17, when it was like, if they took it seriously, they would be in the 7 figures by now, right? But they didn't. So at the time, I saw them and I was like, you're wasting your time. What's like, come on now, right? But that actually, I didn't think it was a waste of time, but more so just like, oh, I'm sure you can do it if you take it seriously, right? But they were buying courses from like Sam Ovens and shit, but like pirated copies, because obviously none of us could afford the real thing at the time. It was $2K, right? Yeah. But anyways, they didn't really actually take any action. So what ended up happening was, because I was watching from a distance, I just thought it was a bit of a scam, right? And I was like, okay, whatever. But then through my YouTube channel, when I was doing my uni content, I had this one guy called Gabriel reach out to me through DMs. He was like, yo, dude, I see you put in work, blah, blah, appreciate the hustle, liking your content. And we just kind of got chatting a little bit. And then he told me he used to do dropshipping. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then, but he pivoted from dropshipping to SMMA. And he was making like 2-3K a month or something, or like 4K. I can't quite remember. But I was like, whoa, this kid is like doing bits, right? And I was like, fuck. And then that's when I remembered, oh, that's what these guys were trying to do, right? So I was like, oh, so this is not like, it's real, right? You can make serious money with this. So that's why I took SMMA more seriously out of all of the other business models, because I had someone in my life that I saw that, oh, he actually did it. And it's not like, I knew him very in depth. We just spoke over DMs and that was it. I don't think I even had a call with him back then, but yeah. I was just like, you know what, I can do this too. Boom, just go.
Quick question:
Yeah.
Is he still around now?
I you know what, I think he is, but he's very low key on Instagram, so I haven't actually spoken to him.
But has he seen the growth?
I'm pretty sure we still have each other on Instagram, or he has my number as well.
Yeah,
so
that's just good to see. That's good. But yeah, so I guess it's just relatability to the people in your life that made you think, cool, I've seen this, let me delve more into this.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, it was a bit of an ego thing as well. It's like, these guys didn't do anything because they didn't take action.
Yeah.
I'm going to crush them. So I was like, okay, let me just pick this and go after it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that definitely makes sense. So how would you say it was for the first year? And talk to me, what skills would you say email marketing has that you differentiate from a newbie just sending an email to, buy my new t-shirt or something? Because from afar it looks like, what are you doing? But I know there's way more.
Yeah.
Like I know there's click-through rate, there's opens and...
With email marketing, right, the concept is very easy to understand. Same thing with Facebook ads, right? Like, you launch an ad, you place it in front of the right person, tell them why they should buy a specific thing, boom, you got the purchase, right? But there's actually a lot of nuances from an operational standpoint in terms of, do you have the right filters in place? Are you targeting the right people? Are you compliant with data protection? Are you sending at appropriate times, right, based on different time zones? Whole host of things, really. I mean, to be an effective email marketing for something like e-commerce, it's not just copywriting. It's not like for coaches and consultants where it's predominantly copy-based. It's more so design, because a lot of products are visual, right? Mm-hmm. So there's like graphic design element, copywriting element, strategy element in terms of ideation, campaign planning, all of that stuff. And then there's the implementation side, so you actually need to understand how to interface with the software. It's probably the easiest, if I'm being honest, but there's other stuff like analytics, exporting data, actually interpreting it, right? Because a lot of people online, they tell you, oh yeah, you need to optimize, you need to split test. Those are just buzzwords, right? But how the fuck do you actually structurally execute on split tests? Well, you take a single variable, you test it in both, see which ones are winning, but what's the winning metric, right? There's like placed order rates, click-through rates, revenue. Like, what are you actually testing for here, right?
Yeah.
So that's a framework that you need to understand. It's a bunch of skills rolled into one, to be honest. So, yeah. Is it easy to learn? Yes. I have a course. I hire all of my account managers through my course now. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's actually very funny because I think this model of hiring is actually really good because it's zero risk on my end.
Yeah.
So it's like a person pays me to buy my course, so and then if they're really good, I hire them. So it's kind of like if you follow the money, they pay me first, and then I would hire from this pool of students. Obviously, they would be able to go out and get their own clients and stuff, but I'm able to see, okay, this person's fantastic, right? And if he just doesn't understand the acquisition systems as well, right? I mean, I have a bit more authority in the space, so it's more like people more time come to us now. So, you know, it's like, hey, do you want opportunity to exercise your skills that you've just newly acquired without having to
Risk it all.
no, not even risk it, but just send out 300, 400, 500 emails or like a bunch of fucking DMs and then try to juggle fulfillment and then hire. We could just plug you right in and you'll have a copywriter and a graphic designer to work with straight away. And it's like, it's much easier
Wow.
from like an operational drag standpoint.
That's a nice funnel you have going there.
Yeah.
It's like you've already done the training already. So but that cost, they've even paid you.
Yeah, exactly.
They've paid you, so
Yeah.
you're just picking from that pool. That's similar to me. So even me, I hire from people that actually watch my content.
Of course.
So I make use of leverage. So some people even do work for me for free just to be able to speak to me type of thing.
Okay.
So again, since I understand my content, they already know exactly how they should edit the videos or what type of graphic designs that I want. So yeah, no, I like that strategy. That's really good. Even marketing, no, that really does make a lot of sense. What would you say the learning curve was for you? Like for those watching, they may be thinking,
Oh.
like, is it straight? Does it straight to victory, or
I mean, if I look back at my career so far, I can't really identify any huge L's, but maybe that's because I don't. Maybe it's just because I'm blind to the L's, right? But what I would say is, though, there's a concept that I first learned of from Naval Ravikant, which he says it's like, you know, what was it? You know how there's the 80-20 rule of the 20% of the effort yields 80% of the results and vice versa, right? The thing is, you can't really identify what that 20% is without having done the whole spectrum of the 100%, because that 20% is only really identifiable in hindsight, right? So basically, imagine if you're starting from zero and life is like a decision tree, right? Decision trees is basically just, you're starting here, there's two options, yes, no. You choose yes, there's like different decisions, and you go down this branch, right? So imagine if life is a decision tree, and you're basically trying to find what the next path that leads you to the point in your destination, right? The closest. Because I did computer science at university for like a year, and I studied it at sixth form as well, I think a lot about life and decisions as more so algorithms. So it's more just like, okay, well, this path of decision making will get me a bit closer. I'll go down this path, yada, yada, yada. But the concept that Naval has that I thought was really cool, which was about when and how to say no, because it's like you're going to go down the wrong path many times. So it's more so about being able to identify which is the wrong path quickly, and then acting on that to reverse it, right? And this is something that a lot of people fuck up on, because it's like they're scared to reverse their actions and work backwards, so they just end up going too far down one path. There's a lot of sunk cost, and they end up getting stuck in their ways. So, for example, a lot of that is the traditional route, because you're constantly surrounded by people giving you the same rhetoric, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't think I've taken too many L's, though.
Okay. How do you deal with, well, God forbid, but maybe under-delivering? Oh, actually, before I get onto that, what's more important? The website on the client's end or your side, the email marketing? Like, you can do your job to the top degree, but then if their side isn't panned, then what you've done is irrelevant. Like, how would you say, what's the split?
So that's more of a concern when it comes to Facebook advertising.
Oh, okay.
Because when you're serving ad creatives, you need to drive it to a landing page that converts. Whereas with email marketing, it's basically retargeting, right? Every email that we collect is people who have actively expressed interest in the brand already. So it's kind of just like, well, it's kind of like me sending DMs to sell your content, course, ebook, whatever, right? I'm saying, hey, this is Boyan from Team Banks, right? Poku's launching this new thing. I think it could really help you because you mentioned in the previous DMs that, you know, your struggle is, you know, budgeting, whatever. We have the really good solution for you. Would you like to learn more about it, right? More time than not, it's yes. And it's like, if they determine it's a good fit, then it's just kind of like, okay, buy here. You take them straight to a checkout page, horrible converting website, right?
Okay.
It's terrible. It's fucking
But you
shit.
skipped all the little steps straight to DLs.
Yeah, but it's more so they trust Poku Banks. They don't trust the website,
Yeah.
right? So it's like they went onto your mailing list because they trusted the brand, not necessarily the website, right? Because we've done incredibly well for, actually, funnily enough, there was this black beauty brand started by a girl who's, they sell like hair oils, right? And it's very, they're quite big in the US, but she has so much trust with her audience because she looks like them, she is the target demographic, she created the product for themselves, and their website, I'll be honest, kind of sucked, right? Conversion rate 4%. Why? Because there was a brand behind it that they trusted, right? So email marketing for that was super easy.
Wow.
Yeah. And then another one of my clients, their cosmetics brand, 400 to 600K a month, right? Their website looks like a dropshipping brand, I'll be honest. Like when he first booked in a call with me, I canceled it. And then he emailed me and then he was saying, oh, we're actually a brand. I was like, oh, shit, dude. I'm so sorry. I thought it was a dropshipping
Oh,
brand.
so you thought like a spam type of...
Yeah. I thought it was like a dropshipping brand. But they do a lot. And the reason why their website converts 8% is because they have like 20,000 reviews on their website. I thought it was fake, but yeah.
Wait,
It's all real reviews, crazy numbers.
I just realized, so you don't even, you're so gone, you don't even work with dropshipping brands.
No, I do now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Last year I didn't because operationally we just didn't really have the team to fulfill.
Oh.
But now we do have 2 dropshipping clients at the moment.
Yes.
One was just a one-off project, but I think he's going to actually transition because he's given me more project as a result. And then the other one we onboarded like 2 weeks ago. But dropshipping is not necessarily bad. It's just there's a slightly different messaging that's necessary. So for example, in the post-purchase, after someone buys the product, that's post-purchase, right? You need to be more careful with the customer journey because, you know, shipping times could be an objection. Customer service could be a bit more difficult, right? So you need to be pre-handling a bunch of shit before they get the product and then making sure that aftercare is like provided but in an automated way because most dropshippers are just like one person with maybe one VA customer service or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that makes sense. Talking of email marketing, well, more about scaling.
Okay.
In general though, I guess you started off by yourself, but how was it scaling in terms of getting people to work with you, making your job easier?
So hiring is a very difficult task actually, because, and to be honest, if I didn't have as big of a brand as I do now, I'd struggle, dude. Because that's why. So initially, right, before actually starting to scale and having mentors explain what certain departments and companies did, right? I thought something like HR was a total waste of resources. I was like, the fuck you need human resources for, right? And because obviously in movies and stuff, they portray HR as this department which is like social justice warriors, basically pandering to anyone in the company who's like feeling kind of shit, right? But it's actually not. Like they handle a lot of the recruitment side of things. So, you know, making sure comp packages are all right, you know, onboarding employees. So useful, right? Super useful, saves you a bunch of time.
Wow.
I only learned that this year. Can you believe it? Like I was running a business, right, for a year and a half without knowing jack shit about the HR department. How crazy is that? Like, so that's why sometimes, I feel a bit of an imposter syndrome because I was like, oh, fuck. Because I was like, I can't believe I did not know that.
Wow. So then you had to get that. So then the hiring process was a lot easier in your behalf.
No, actually, I still don't have an HR department. I still make my own hires, but the hiring funnel for me now is a lot more figured out, right? So it's more so just like, hey, speak to them, get them on a paid trial project, right? If it's good, cool, integrate them into their team. If it's bad, boom, out, right? So it's very much like hire quickly, fire quickly, and then, with paid tasks, you can kind of know what they're about. Most recently, a lot of my hires from an account managing standpoint have all been my students. Like, everyone. I've hired from bigger email agencies, and the training they provide is just not as good. And I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure I'm not like the best email marketer, right? But yeah, training for me has been better. And also another thing is, when you hire students, they're bought into your culture, so they like communicating with you. They like listening to you, right? And they already know the stuff that you know, but they're just probably better than you at it because they're able to focus on it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. What I wanted to ask was, at what stage does a brand then decide, okay, we need email marketing? Is it? Do you think they need to be already doing decent sales and then come forth? Because you mentioned how some of the brands you're already working with are already doing 400K months, whatnot. Or, what do you think? What stage? Is there any stage how does that work? Just
every brand needs email marketing because it's back end stuff, right? It's like, you can make £1,000 a month revenue wise, and 30% of that still can come from emails, right? So emails is more of a ratios game where, we can generate a certain percentage of your total revenue through emails, right? For example, my girlfriend's brand, before she even made too many sales, I was able to put in some basic flows in place so that when she did make a lot of sales, we made her like an extra couple £1,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's smooth. And without being biased, there's many forms of marketing.
Yes.
There's organic, there's Facebook ads, Google ads, email marketing. Rank for e-commerce brand, rank from 1 to 5. Where like for those, where would you say, just for someone watching that, where should they focus on?
Oh, that's a tough one because it really depends on your product type, which channel you should focus on. So I wouldn't say email is like number one, definitely not, because email is not really great for top of funnel growth. So top of funnel growth meaning, getting more people to know the brand, acquiring brand new first time buyers. It's not the best, right? But depending on the product type, you would either go down the organic content route, or you would go down the paid media route, influencer route, micro-influencer. It doesn't really matter. It's down to the product. So for example, product with a lot of virality, you would probably go down the organic content route because if you can find angles to market it like that, then boom, you explode in sales and it's completely free, right? But if you're more utility based, so for example, another one of my clients, I think they are the biggest baby brand in the US on Amazon, right? The best channel for them from a D2C standpoint on their Shopify is Google, right? Because it's utility based, right? People are actively searching for those products. Whereas something that's more of like there's specific products for like Facebook, there's specific products for like TikTok organic. But my personal favorite channel at the moment, like for myself, that I enjoy the most, I believe coaches and consultants, they need to learn how to make organic content really good, because ads can really only get you so far because, CPMs go up over time naturally, right? As more competition enters the market. And also if, for example, Andrew Tate, right? 0 paid media. Why does he blow up so much? Because his content engine is ridiculous, right? So I think organic content is the thing that I'm personally most bullish on. and it's going to be the channel that I spend most of my time in from a branding standpoint, at least. And like, you know, just getting more reach. If I want to scale a course in the future, which it just makes sense for me to at this point, I'm going to do it through organic content, you know.
Makes sense. Okay, cool. So for the audience, those that may be interested in email marketing, what would you say were 3 mistakes you made at the beginning? Or if you could talk to yourself, 3 years ago, what would you say to yourself, 3 mistakes and how to avoid?
Specifically with email marketing, I don't think I made any mistakes, not to toot my own horn. But from a business standpoint, I've made so many. Like, where the fuck do I begin? Like, not pivoting fast enough, being on the fence for a couple of months, right? Knowing I should pivot deep down, but just like resisting because I was like, Facebook ads works for me, I make money, blah, blah. Boom, went to shit. Not went to shit, but as in like there was a lot of friction to scaling, which that was the thing that not forced me, but as in like, I was like, okay, now it's definitely the right time, but I knew it was the right time to pivot like 2 months, 3 months prior.
Yeah.
I was just being a pussy about it, right? That was probably one of the bigger mistakes when when you know you need to do something, but because it's really hard and it makes you super uncomfortable, you just don't. I feel like that is a very common mistake, and I'm sure I'll make that again at some point. Another one that I've made more recently is being stingy with margins. So earlier this year, I learned, as I was learning about the HR department, I also learned about cost control. And I was like, oh, cost control. This is a really cool concept, right? Controlling your gross margins, strategically lowering your net margins to reinvest in R&D and shit, right? And I was like, that's very interesting. And then every good service firm out there that I've heard from maintain, 80 to 90% gross margins.
Oh.
And I was like, 80, 90% gross margins, that's my aim too. But then one thing I really struggled with was like team member retention, right? Because team members would just leave because I was like, no, we're not spending more. This is the margin, right? Boom. People would just like leave and stuff, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Why am I really underpaying people just to maintain a margin that would hurt my longevity in business?
Yeah.
So now, I've made this mistake up until very recently. So now, very soon, basically my whole team, I'm thinking about giving everyone just like a pay rise. But I need to do it strategically because when you give people more with no additional work required, they kind of slack off a little bit. So I don't know. I'm trying to navigate that right now, which has been like crazy. I don't know how to really navigate it. But I mean, I've made tons of mistakes in my agency career. I think I should have sold a course way earlier, to be honest, but I just didn't really feel confident enough, and it's more of a belief thing, right? Because I didn't want to be known as that guy that just sells a course once he scales past a certain point. And I was like, no, I'm better than that. But it's partly ego and it's partly limiting belief, because you're basically solving a bigger problem in the marketplace, right? That's why you're getting compensated more, because everyone who started a course when I should have done is making more than me now. And now I'm just like, oh, well, that's very interesting. That was probably a mistake from a financial perspective. Do I regret it? I don't know. It's hard to say, but I feel like that was a mistake. When you say
making more, like making more as a whole or through email marketing?
As a whole, I'm pretty sure. Because I think if I started selling a course, I don't know, a year ago, I'd probably be making 150, 200K by now a month. And I'm at a fraction of that. So obviously that's a mistake. But the issue, right, with selling information too early is you risk your reputation getting exposed, right? And also that's why a lot of gurus, what happens is because they haven't actually walked the walk, their careers in the coaching space is very short-lived because their product sucks ass. Because I've literally purchased programs. I'm like, yo, you should you don't know how to run a sales team, you've never done this before, you're just regurgitating shit from other people. And I know people in the space right now who are like friends/acquaintances of mine where, they would say, oh, had a 50K month, right? But I know the back end of that, it's like, bro, your cash collected was 15. You're talking about contract value, which, because your product, I don't know how good the program is, but it's like, let's say if 50% of those contract actually gets realized, you have not had a 50K month. You're chatting shit, right?
Yeah.
But so it's very easy to see people posting on social media about, oh, just made 75K this month, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, what was your cash collected? What's the lifetime value on that? What's the retention on that? What's the likelihood of them actually paying you the whole contract amount? Well, if you factor all of that shit in, and then you're looking at like sales rep commissions, I don't know, man. A lot of coaches are cap, I'll be honest. Yeah.
So then, would you say the email marketing space is easy for beginners to navigate when trying to learn? Obviously, there's you can learn from you.
So, easy to navigate? Okay, here's my bias, right? I would say yes, but I'm incentivized to because I sell a course that teaches it, right? But in all honesty, I do think it's relative. So if you're saying, Boyan, because there has to be a comparison, right? Because I can objectively say it's easy, but then what am I comparing it to? Am I comparing it to, you going out there knocking doors and offering to mow lawns? Of course, that's a much easier skill to learn, right? But if I were to compare it to some of the other more common things out there, like if you're offering Facebook ads, like email marketing is, in my opinion, a lot simpler. And even from an objective standpoint, because with Facebook ads, you need to worry about creative, landing page optimization, media buying, but it's not like, and those are very separate skills. And oftentimes what people do is they sell Facebook ads, but they don't sell everything else that's required to make Facebook ads work. So their target audience, their target client base, total addressable market is very small because they're looking for businesses that can plug in specifically media buying to make their entire system work. But a lot of businesses, for example, even if you do local lead gen, what you'll want to do is you're going to want to have every lead you generate before you send it to the clients, you're probably going to need to call them up to make sure they're qualified, get them booked in straight away, right? But you're not willing to do that because guess what? You don't know how to cold call. You don't know how to hire for that, right? So suddenly your service becomes pretty worthless again because the other facets you just don't understand.
Yeah.
Whereas email marketing, at least the way I teach it is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.